Have you ever wondered how Catholic evangelization influenced the very first schools in Spanish colonies? Soon after Spanish colonizers arrived, missionaries seized the chance to teach the native population reading, writing, and religious doctrine. Their goal was simple yet powerful: spread the faith while creating a structured learning environment. This blend of religion and education shaped generations, establishing a template for future institutions. These early schools primarily focused on catechism and basic literacy, but they also introduced local communities to Latin prayers and Spanish forms of expression. By merging language instruction with religious content, missionaries aimed to foster both spiritual growth and cultural assimilation. It's fascinating to see how these first educational structures, although modest, functioned as hubs of transformation, influencing minds and daily life throughout the colonies. Under the auspices of religious orders like the Franciscans, Dominicans, and Jesuits, indigenous communities could access a rudimentary curriculum. They learned prayers, Bible stories, and often took part in chanting hymns. However, the emphasis went far beyond religious doctrine. Reading and writing were viewed as necessary tools to spread Christian knowledge, ensuring that the colonial educational framework remained deeply intertwined with church teachings and institutional expansion. Moving into advanced pursuits, religious schools often laid groundwork for future scholars and clergy, offering theology and philosophy alongside basic literacy. These institutions, though exclusive, established traditions of rigorous study that persisted beyond the colonial period. Students acquired not just spiritual insights, but also analytical skills that shaped colonial governance and intellectual life. In many ways, they laid the cornerstones for scholarly endeavors within nascent colonial societies. Women's education during this era was limited compared to men's, yet some convent schools offered literacy and religious instruction for girls from prominent families. Though restricted, this influence paved the way for further inclusivity in subsequent generations. It's intriguing to see how these early efforts quietly planted the seeds of eventual transformation, sparking dialogues on women's roles in learning and service to the Church. Over time, the growing network of Catholic schools spurred the development of libraries, printing presses, and scholarly communities. Missions sometimes produced translations of religious texts in local tongues, revealing a nuanced approach to education. Although colonization carried layers of control, these institutions left behind a legacy of formalized learning. Their curricula shaped societal values, sparking adaptations that continued well after independence movements swept through former Spanish territories. Ultimately, the core legacy of Catholic education in the Spanish colonial era extends beyond religion. It established reading and writing standards, seeded schools that evolved into modern institutions, and influenced how people perceived knowledge and authority. By weaving academic principles into missionary work, these early educators forged pathways for later generations to reinterpret and reshape their inherited systems. This blend of faith and learning still resonates today.